Hey guys, you're welcome to the show for the Z Generation. I'm Lumi, and of course I have my girls Amanda and Kemi.
Hey guys.
How are you guys doing?
We're fine. How are you doing?
Fine. Are you ready for the show today?
Yeah, I'm ready for this topic.
You're always ready for...
We all experience gingered.
Okay.
Now, one of the costs of being alive is the fact that no matter who you are, you can expect to deal with insecurity of some kind on a daily basis. Unfortunately, insecurity is a natural part of the human experience. It may be something small, like whether your smoky eye is too smoky, or something huge, like whether or not you've got what it takes to succeed at what you've chosen in a profession. Regardless of how that makes you feel, knowing what to tell yourself when you're feeling insecure is the way to keep out excess negativity out of your life. Today, we discuss dealing with insecurities as a millennial. Wow, like, as they said, like, it can be something small and it can be something big.
Yeah, I really like this stuff because I feel everybody's insecure. No matter how put together, no matter how perfect somebody seems, there's always something that is not just agreeing with them.
Why is that though? Why do you feel we didn't exist without insecurities?
I think every human being actually wants to be perfect. And then the idea that one thing that is imperfect in you makes you feel insecure. Do you get? I think that is it. But
are you
anyway,
sure
guys.
Because when I was reading up, I know there were 3 causes of insecurities. There was perfection, social anxiety, and past failures. So I wouldn't say just perfection, but generally I think we live in an imperfect world, so it's inevitable that, you know, if we're being brought up by the world, we'll end up being imperfect, causing us to be insecure.
So you have to be insecure.
Yeah, you just have to. There's literally no running away from it. Anywho, right off the break, guys, we're going to be joined by a fashion stylist. So stick around, guys. Welcome back. In the studio with us, we have Kevin Koya. He's a fashion stylist, brand influencer, publicist, and brand consultant. He debuted his modeling career on the runway at the Lagos Fashion and Design Week for ASEAN. He also worked with About That Curvy Life Collective, which is centered around positivity and motivation for the plus-size community. Hey!
Hi.
That is so cool.
Almost like
I love how
are
you
you a
dress, by the way.
feminist?
How did you get into that?
No, I'm just someone that believes that everyone has the right to be and act however they want to, as far as it's legal though.
Yeah.
So how did you decide that this is what you wanted to do?
Growing up, I've always been this person that always has this ginger people to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
So it just sticks that I knew growing up I was going to do this. I was going to get into plus size modeling. I was going to advocate for it, especially in Nigeria here. Because here we have more female plus size models and stuff.
True.
So I'm like, guys are not wanting to do it. Let somebody be the frontier. And then
Also,
every other
you're
person
for
follows
male
it.
plus size models.
Yeah,
That is super
representing
cool.
the male, but
That's
it's still
so
like a
cool.
community. So everybody's still.
And so if you were to define insecurity in your own words, based on your experiences, how would you define it?
I'll just say insecurity is when your self-esteem is down, I think. Is when you have a low self-esteem at that moment. It's not compulsorily that you see yourself as a failure, but just at that moment, just at that little moment when you're like, oh, can I do this? That's you coming up to having insecurity.
I feel like it varies depending on what causes your insecurity. Because like you can be insecure about your body, and that's like a lack of confidence, or it could be from you don't have enough self-love for yourself, or it could be from a relationship, the way your parents treat you, the way
It could be from somebody, from you walking past somebody and somebody laughing and you're like, what's the person laughing at? So it varies a lot.
Yeah.
It varies a lot.
I think for me, my major insecurity started when I was walking somewhere and I think I was sleeveless. Somebody just said, oh, you have Christian mother arms. And then ever since that time, every time I look at my arms, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so big. So I don't even wear sleeveless. I mean, every time I'm like, oh no, let me cover my arms. But I wouldn't say that I lack self-esteem. I would just say I'm just insecure about that one thing. So I don't think, unless maybe you're just insecure about who you are as a person, I feel like everybody's insecure about something.
Mostly more than one thing.
Yeah.
It's a build-up of things.
It's a norm, no matter how it is at the end of the day. There's still something that you would feel anxious about in public or while you're at home, or probably you watch a movie, you're seeing some, I'm just using like from my own aspect, you're seeing some muscular guy, you're like, ugh, okay, girls always, because of how social media has been. So like that, you always, it's always there. Like, oh, this color of shoe, does it work? That's
it's interesting that you said that, because I remember growing up and I feel like my family had a lot to do with my insecurities as a younger, no, like they know, I've told them before. So personally, my 2 elder sisters, they were like brainies, getting all the A's, WAEC, A-level, this, JAM. And so I just remember that every time I used to bring my report card home, and they just see like 10th position.
Yeah, carrying the class.
It's funny now, but like then I used to be so scared and I used to feel very inadequate. So I feel like parenting, like people who have authoritative figures in your life have a huge role to play in insecurities you face as a younger person.
So that means criticism actually makes you feel insecure.
Is it
well,
criticism?
it's the way they deliver the criticism. So it's just because I went through something similar in my family. I'm not dumb, but I'm the least smartest one. And that really impacted me, because I now became this perfectionist where I thought if I did something I had to be perfect, because I knew when I got home Daddy was
when it becomes that from the authority part you're talking about is when they do the comparison thing. Without the comparison thing, it's not so much a deal for you yourself. It's just like, oh, I could do better. But when they now do see your mates or see your sister, that's when it now starts going in really deeply into the whole you being insecure about it. And then the truth is, at that moment, that's another thing though, but it's like at that moment, that's when you now decide and know that in as much as you feel like you're not getting the A's, but like you are getting the woo, just like
You're still on to Momency. The topic of today is dealing with insecurities. Joining us now is Stephen Blaze Aladenika. He's the 21-year-old winner of Elite Model Look Nigeria 2017. He's signed with top agencies internationally and Beth Models Africa. He's also a recording artist with a stage name, Blaze. Blaze! Look at you! How are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Like I was just wondering how your stash was like Elite Model.
There was no surge anyway, so it was just the formal stuff. Okay, this is our winner, and everybody was
so are you like a king?
Yeah.
The king.
Not like a king, I am a king.
Look at you.
Yeah, but then you went to the Elite Model Look worldwide for the competition.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, you're now with people from different races, different body types. Was there ever a point where you felt like, I shouldn't be here? Did you feel inadequate or insecure at one point when you were at that competition?
Yeah, before I traveled to Italy for the World Finals, I used to feel like these people outside are actually all to themselves, like they should definitely favor people from their side. But I got to find out that no, if you're not just what they want, you're not it. If you actually what they want, regardless of your race, your color, or wherever you are, they will definitely work with you.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Okay, but like as young people, like we're talking about the various ways that we could be insecure, because we've talked about body and relationship. Are there other ways that people can feel insecure?
Social media.
Social media.
Is that?
That is a good.
That's a prominent one.
Oh my God, that is a. I don't even know the word to use, but it happens like a lot. And then I don't know. I feel it's because of how some people have put up the facade of their own life, and then people just see it that way. Because it happens sometimes when probably I'm just like working, like I'm going from here to here and working, and I see people telling me, oh, you're chilling, and you're like, I am working. I'm like, I want to have your life. I'm like, I'm working. So it's like that. So people just they see you work, they see it as fun, and they're like, oh, why can't I have this kind of life? Why can't I be this fun? So social media does a lot when people are posing with cars they don't own, and somebody's like, oh my God, that's my age mate. So yeah, social media, things basically. But I feel when it comes to insecurity, it's one of the prominent things with being a teenager, with being a youth, because it happens in every sphere, whether education, whether at home, it just happens.
Yeah, but I think some people deal with it better than other people. I mean, for example, I want to add, by the way, another way people experience insecurities. So for me, I had this lecturer in school who at one point I thought he hated me. Do you get? So as studying architecture, you have to present your designs, and then one way or another, my designs were not just it for him. Now, let's not forget that in schools, it's not necessarily about what you do, but it's what pleases them at that point. So you have a lecturer who likes circular buildings. If you do anything circular, you're going to get an A. If you do something square because you feel the design is good, you're not going to cut it. So this man was constantly always picking on me, telling me, oh, your work is not good, your work is not this, your work is not that. And I that was one of the reasons why I'm like, you know what, I don't think I can ever do architecture. So I had to start looking for other things that I felt like I was good at, because he just made me feel so insecure. But I feel like because I didn't deal with it very well. So the topic is dealing with insecurities. So for example, in a school system where people are putting you down, how do you deal with it and still come out tops?
First is identifying what you're being called out for, or being insecure. Once you'll be able to identify it, then I call it a self-assessment phase, where you sit down and be like, oh, these things they are saying, is it actually true? Okay, if it's true, how do I change it? Let me give you an instance. I had a friend in school. Her name was Tope when we were still in secondary school. And then she was
Her name has changed now.
And then she was really fat. And then she likes stomping when she works, so it's always caused vibration. They started calling her Earthquake.
Oh,
and then she
that's
was
her
always
name was Tope.
and then she was always crying and stuff. And
That
then
is so sad.
I told her, Tope, own this thing. Like, when they call you Earthquake, answer. Like, don't answer. And then she was like, no, that's what they'll call me more. I said, try for 1 week. It doesn't work. Don't talk to me. And then she did it. When they called her Earthquake, she'd be like, yes, can I help you? And then at the end of the day, she loved the name so much that if you call her Tope, she will answer. Like, if I call her EQ, what's up? That's what I call her. EQ, what's up? How far? I'm good. That's how it is. She owned it and then it stopped.
She made it hers.
Yeah, so once you be able to identify it, be able to now know how to deal with it, if it's to accept it and move on, or if it's to change what it is, if it's actually an insecurity to you.
Now, I like what you said about how you can deal with insecurities in different ways, but I feel like sometimes you say things and they're like textbook-ish. Okay. What are ways that you have personally dealt with your insecurities?
Okay, in a way, let's say it was not just a switch up in a day for me to just, okay, probably feel, okay, yeah, this is how I am now. Like, there were times when I used to feel like, okay, do I really look good in pictures? Am I really doing well when it comes to this? Is this really my talent? Like, is this what I can really do? So how do I manage to like accept this as a new person, as this person that I really want to be? One, I had to like know my weakness. Like, there are some things that I don't really like. There are some things that bring me down. There are some things that don't let me like move from a particular stage to another stage. So I had to point out this weakness. I had to know how to tackle them, let them go. Like, I don't let them affect my present or my future. So when I do that, I find myself like getting a step closer to my dreams. And that was how it worked for me. And majorly again, like, I had to set new goals. Like, there's this way I used to think before about myself. It's totally different from it now. Like, there's a way I used to see myself then, like, okay, can I actually do this? Like, I noticed that where I am now is where, like, I used to sometimes want to be. Like, I used to picture myself in this setting. So it's majorly about how I manage to set my goals and work towards them.
It's like a mindset change that happens.
Exactly. Because the thing is, you are in possession of yourself. So if you don't make a move, no one is going to live there and say, okay, this is what I want you to do. This is how you're supposed to be. You need to be sure of yourself. Then you go for it.
I think, in essence, what we're just trying to get out of this is, my dad always says to me, Kemi, you can't control what people do to you or what people give you, but you can always control how you react. So our aim is to create that, allow people to get to that level of consciousness when they understand that everything you see on social media, you take it with a pinch of salt. That way, even if I pose with the Range Rover, you know, I take Keke home every day, you'll be able to know, I beg, there's something, nobody will feel, oh my God, no, I don't have a Range Rover. Like, we should be able to understand that no one's life is like that. And then just
so it's your reaction.
For me, what I've been able to do so far is most times, even when I post pictures, I always like to add positive messages to it. Be like, yes, we hustle hard, stuff like that.
No, that one. Yes, we hustle hard.
Well, sometimes pictures are actually meant to be motivational. But people like tend to get the wrong message. They be like, okay, probably this person is showing off. This person is trying to make us understand that, okay, I'm living large and all.
That's why we leave
That's why I always say it's a mindset.
I think what we've been able to establish is the fact that no one else can deal with your insecurities. You have to deal with it yourself. You have to take charge of how you feel at every certain time and just own it. Okay, guys, thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you so much, Steven.
Thank you, guys.
Just before we go, I'd like to see your go-to look. So the kind of look like when they say, you know what, camera, pose. I'd like to see your, I mean, you guys are models. I'd like to see your go-to look.
Okay.
Who's going first?
You.
Mine's like. I'm like chill.
What is yours?
Unbothered.
Okay, mine is like.
Of course. Slow down.